Smart women understand one of the greatest truths of life: peace is more valuable than winning every argument, proving every point, or reacting to every provocation. When we say they choose peace over drama, it is not a sign of weakness. It is a sign of immense emotional maturity. It takes tremendous strength to walk away from unnecessary conflict, to remain calm in the middle of chaos, and to respond with wisdom when everything around you pushes you to respond with anger. You see, drama always invites you loudly, while peace whispers quietly. Drama feeds the ego, peace nourishes the soul. Smart women know this difference very well. They have learned, sometimes through painful experiences, sometimes through long years of emotional training, that not every battle deserves their presence, not every criticism deserves their energy, and not every person deserves an explanation. They recognize that their mental space is sacred, and they guard it like a temple. When someone tries to drag them into gossip, conflict, jealousy, or emotional games, they don't get provoked easily. They pause, they breathe, they assess, and then, with a gentle smile, they withdraw, because they understand that reacting to every situation is exhausting, and exhausting themselves for the sake of others' entertainment is not wisdom. They know that emotional peace is not something you look for outside. It is something you create within yourself. A smart woman knows that her peace is connected to her choices. She chooses her words wisely, her circle carefully, and her battles selectively. She does not surround herself with people who constantly drain her energy or destroy her spirit. She prefers solitude over loud and chaotic company. She prefers quietness over unnecessary attention. And she prefers stability over temporary excitement that leads to long-term chaos. People often misunderstand her calmness. They may think she is avoiding confrontation or that she is indifferent. But the truth is, she simply understands the cost of emotional turbulence. She has been through enough storms in life to know that peace is priceless. Some people argue to dominate. She chooses silence to preserve her dignity. Some people create problems to feel important. She solves problems to stay responsible. Some people thrive on chaos. She thrives on clarity. Her peace is not passive, it is active. She intentionally chooses to not respond to every criticism. She consciously decides not to participate in negativity. She deliberately avoids conversations that will lead nowhere. She chooses inner stillness over external validation, and that is what makes her powerful. The ability to stay centered when others lose balance. Smart women are not afraid of letting go. They can walk away from situations that disturb their inner harmony. They can distance themselves from people who constantly bring drama. They can remove themselves from environments that do not respect their values. Because they understand that when you protect your peace, you protect your future. When you guard your peace, you guard your happiness. And when you honor your peace, you honor yourself. But remember, choosing peace does not mean she tolerates disrespect. She can be calm without being silent. She can be peaceful without being passive. She can be graceful without being submissive. She simply chooses to respond with dignity instead of reacting with anger. She speaks when necessary, but she speaks with intention, not emotion. Her peace gives her clarity, and clarity gives her the strength to stand firm without shouting. What people often forget is that behind her calmness, there is a story. A story of battles she fought, heartbreaks she survived, lessons she learned, and strength she built. Her peace is the result of her past struggles. She doesn't want her life to return to that chaos again. That is why she protects her peace so fiercely. She knows the cost of losing it, and she knows the value of keeping it. A smart woman understands that peace is not just an emotional state, it is a lifestyle. It is the way she walks, the way she talks, the way she thinks, and the way she treats people. She chooses peace in her home, in her relationships, in her work, and in her decisions. She creates an environment around her where respect prevails, silence heals, and love grows. She becomes the calm in the storm, the light in the darkness, and the balance in the chaos. And because she chooses peace, her presence becomes peaceful to others as well. People feel more comfortable around her. They feel seen, heard, and understood. They feel safe. She becomes someone who lifts others without exhausting herself, someone who inspires others without trying to impress, someone who brings stability without losing her identity. This is why smart women appear strong even when they are tired. This is why they appear calm even when life tests them. This is why they appear composed even when emotions run high. It is not perfection, it is practice. It is not luck, it is discipline. It is not magic, it is mastery. Choosing peace is not easy. It requires patience, courage, and emotional intelligence. But smart women choose it anyway because they know that peace is the foundation of a meaningful, purposeful, and joyful life. And once a woman discovers the taste of real peace, she will never again entertain the emptiness of drama. Smart women have a unique and powerful quality that often goes unnoticed. They speak less, but observe more. This is not because they are shy, weak, or uncertain. In fact, it is the complete opposite. Their silence is intentional. Their quietness is strategic. Their calmness is intelligent. They understand that wisdom is not found in speaking first, but in understanding deeply. They don't rush to respond. They don't hurry to express every thought. They don't compete to be the loudest voice in the room. Instead, they choose to absorb, reflect, and then respond with clarity, precision, and purpose. A smart woman knows that every conversation carries hidden details. The tone, the pauses, the expressions, the intentions behind the words. While others argue to be heard, she listens to understand. While others jump to conclusions, she takes her time to observe. While others speak impulsively, she waits for the right moment. This ability makes her emotionally intelligent, socially aware, and mentally balanced. There is a certain grace in the way she observes. She notices small things that others ignore. The discomfort in someone's eyes, the change in someone's behavior, the unsaid pain behind someone's smile. Because she observes deeply, she connects genuinely. Because she listens fully, she understands clearly. And because she is attentive, she avoids many mistakes that people make out of haste, assumptions, or overconfidence. Her silence is not emptiness. It is full of thought, awareness, and emotional understanding. When she remains quiet in a heated moment, people may think she is avoiding conflict, but in reality, she is preventing the situation from turning worse. She knows that reacting instantly when emotions are high rarely leads to anything good. So she takes a step back, breathes, and lets the storm settle before she speaks. Her words carry weight because she speaks them, only after thinking deeply. Smart women observe the intentions of people more than their words. They are not impressed by loud promises, dramatic gestures, or exaggerated expressions. They focus on actions, consistency, and authenticity. They quietly study how people treat others, how they behave when no one is watching, how they speak when they want something, and how they act when they have nothing to gain. Their ability to read people helps them choose their relationships wisely. In conversations, she gives others space to talk because she knows that by listening, she learns more. She learns about people's mindsets, values, fears, insecurities, dreams, and behaviors. She learns what to trust, what to avoid, and what to nurture. People often open up to her because her presence feels calm and non judgmental. She does not dominate the room, she balances it. Her observation skills protect her from manipulation. She can sense when someone is lying, pretending, showing off, or hiding something, not because she is suspicious, but because she is aware. Her mind connects patterns quickly. She remembers details. She notices changes. She understands emotional signals. This helps her navigate relationships and situations with confidence. It is said that when a wise person speaks, it is after listening to everything. This is true for smart women. When she finally speaks, she speaks with depth. Her words carry meaning. People listen. Her advice makes sense. Her presence brings clarity. And her conversations leave impact. Not because she speaks a lot, but because she speaks with intention. But this silence, this observation, this maturity, it has been built over time. She was not always like this. She learned it through experiences, heartbreaks, disappointments, and life lessons. She learned that speaking too much can lead to misunderstandings, that reacting too quickly can create regrets, that trusting too easily can cause pain. So she turned inward, became wiser, calmer, more aware. Her observation became her strength. She doesn't argue to prove herself right. She doesn't talk to gain approval. She doesn't over-explain her choices. She knows that people will understand only what they are ready to understand. She chooses her words thoughtfully and her silence powerfully. Sometimes silence communicates more than 1,000 words, and she knows exactly when to use each. Smart women observe not just others, but themselves too. They pay attention to their own emotions, triggers, reactions, and growth. They reflect on their actions. They analyze their choices. They learn from their mistakes. This self-awareness elevates them further. It helps them become emotionally stable, spiritually grounded, and mentally resilient. Because she speaks less, some people underestimate her. They think she is quiet because she doesn't know, doesn't care, or doesn't understand. But little do they realize that she is noticing everything: the tone of their voice, the intention behind their words, the inconsistency in their actions. She is not missing anything, she is watching everything. Her quietness is her superpower. It gives her the ability to stay composed in difficult situations. It helps her make better decisions. It prevents unnecessary conflict. It saves her from toxic people. It keeps her mind clear and her heart peaceful. In a world where everyone wants to be noticed, she chooses to notice. In a world where everyone wants to speak, she chooses to listen. In a world where everyone reacts instantly, she chooses to respond wisely. And that is what sets her apart. Not the loudness of her voice, but the strength of her awareness. Not the amount she speaks, but the depth she carries. Not the noise she makes, but the wisdom she quietly holds. Smart women carry a rare combination within them. They are emotionally strong, yet beautifully soft-hearted. This balance is not accidental. It is shaped through experience, pain, growth, and deep self-awareness. It is easy to misunderstand them because on the outside they appear composed, in control, and resilient. But beneath that strength lies a heart that feels deeply, cares genuinely, and loves wholeheartedly. This inner duality is what makes them extraordinary. People often assume that emotional strength means becoming hard, detached, or unbothered. But smart women know that real strength is not about building walls, it's about building wisdom. They don't become cold, they become clear. They don't stop feeling, they stop letting their feelings destroy them. They don't stop caring, they simply learn who deserves their care. Their soft heart allows them to connect with others, while their strength helps them protect themselves. This strength did not appear overnight. It comes from surviving moments that could have broken them. They've faced situations where they gave too much, trusted too easily, loved too deeply, and got hurt more than they expected. They have cried silently in places where no one could see. They have picked themselves up when no one offered a hand. They have healed wounds that no one even knew existed. And every time life pushed them down, they stood up with a little more strength and a lot more wisdom. Yet, despite everything, they didn't allow life to harden their hearts. They didn't let bitterness replace kindness. They didn't let disappointment destroy their compassion. They kept their softness intact, but now guarded it with awareness. They know that a soft heart is a gift, not a weakness. It is the ability to empathize, to forgive, to uplift, to understand, and to love beyond logic. This softness is their humanity, and they protect it carefully. A smart woman's emotional strength shows in the way she handles challenges. She doesn't collapse under pressure. She doesn't panic easily. She breathes, she thinks, she organizes, she adapts. She knows how to stay calm even when life throws storms at her. She knows how to support others even when she herself is hurting. She knows how to remain stable when others are losing balance. Her strength is not loud, it is steady, not forceful, it is graceful. But the most beautiful part is that even in her strength, she remains tender-hearted. She feels joy deeply, sadness deeply, love deeply, and loss deeply. She celebrates small wins. She remembers small kindnesses. She gets affected by other people's emotions because her heart is sensitive. She notices when someone is struggling. She comforts without being asked. She loves without expecting return. This emotional sensitivity makes her empathetic and humane. However, being soft-hearted does not mean she is naive. She doesn't allow people to use her kindness as an opportunity to manipulate her. She can be kind, but she can also say no. She can be compassionate, but she can also draw boundaries. She can forgive, but she will not forget the lesson. She helps others, but she does not let them drain her. This balance between softness and strength protects her from emotional exhaustion. When she loves deeply. She invests herself fully, her time, her efforts, her loyalty, her emotions. But she has learned to give her heart with wisdom. She knows when to stay, when to fight for something, and when to walk away. Her strength helps her leave situations that are harmful. Her softness helps her remember that she deserves love, not chaos, peace, not pain, respect, not excuses. Many people admire her because she appears unbreakable. They see her standing tall while carrying responsibilities, helping others, and managing life's pressures. They assume she never gets tired, never gets hurt, never feels fragile. But what they don't see is the courage it takes for her to keep going. Her strength is not the absence of pain, it is the ability to rise above it. Her softness is not vulnerability, it is the courage to stay open, hearted despite the risk of being hurt. Smart women also understand that emotional strength includes the ability to be vulnerable. They don't pretend to be perfect. They acknowledge their feelings. They cry when they need to. They share when they trust. They seek support when overwhelmed. Vulnerability is not weakness to them, it is honesty. And that honesty builds stronger connections, deeper love, and healthier relationships. They know that real power comes from emotional balance. Too much strength without softness makes a person rigid. Too much softness without strength makes a person easily broken. They nurture both sides within themselves. They work on healing, self-love, reflection, and growth. They invest in their mental and emotional health. They learn how to understand their emotions rather than suppress them. This is why smart women shine differently. Their strength is inspiring. Their softness is comforting. Their presence is grounding. They become the person people go to for advice, love, stability, and understanding. They can be the rock in someone's storm while still being gentle enough to bring warmth into someone's life. They can carry their own pain while helping others heal theirs. The truth is, being emotionally strong and soft-hearted is not a natural combination. It is an achievement. It shows a lifetime of lessons, growth, reflection, and resilience. It shows that the woman has fought battles no one saw and still chose love over bitterness. She chose kindness over cruelty. She chose hope over despair. She chose to stay human in a world that often tries to harden people. And that is what makes her extraordinary. She is strong, but not hardened, soft but not weak, gentle but not fragile, loving but not blind. She has a heart that feels deeply and a mind that protects that heart with wisdom. She is a rare balance of power and tenderness, a balance that only life's greatest lessons can create. Smart women have a quiet but powerful understanding of their own worth, and because of that, they set boundaries without guilt, apology, or hesitation. Their boundaries are not walls meant to keep people out. They are gates that ensure only the right people enter. They know that a life without boundaries invites stress, disrespect, emotional exhaustion, and unnecessary chaos. And over time, through experiences both painful and transformative, they have learned that protecting their peace is not selfish. It is essential. Setting boundaries is often misunderstood. People think it means being rude, cold, or distant. But smart women know that boundaries are an act of self-respect. They are a declaration that their time, their emotions, their space, and their energy matter. They are a reminder that they are responsible for their own well-being. They don't allow others to define how they should live, how they should feel, or how much they should tolerate. They decide that for themselves. A smart woman does not hesitate to say no when something doesn't align with her values or emotional limits. She knows that saying yes to everyone else while saying no to herself leads to burnout, resentment, and emotional imbalance. So she honors her limits even if others don't understand them. She doesn't explain herself repeatedly just to make others comfortable. She doesn't seek approval for her decisions. She stands firm because she knows her choices come from a place of inner clarity. Her boundaries are shaped by lessons from her past. Maybe she once allowed people to take advantage of her kindness. Maybe she once gave too many chances. Maybe she once sacrificed her peace for the sake of others' happiness. Maybe she once tolerated disrespect because she believed love meant endurance. Those experiences taught her the cost of having no boundaries, the emotional pain, the self-doubt, the loss of identity. And once she learns that lesson, she never forgets it. She begins building stronger, healthier limits around her life. People sometimes react negatively when she sets boundaries. They may accuse her of being difficult, selfish, or changed. But she understands that people who benefit from her lack of boundaries will always resist her new ones. Yet she doesn't let guilt weaken her. She remains kind but firm, gentle but clear. She doesn't need to raise her voice to make her boundaries known. Her quiet confidence is enough. Smart women set boundaries in relationships, in friendships, in family dynamics, at work, and within their own thoughts. She maintains emotional distance from people who drain her. She limits interactions with those who constantly complain, gossip, or bring negativity. She steps back from those who disrespect her time or manipulate her emotions. She ends relationships that are not mutual, healthy, or safe. She chooses people who value her presence, not those who exploit her kindness. At the same time, she also sets boundaries with herself. She doesn't allow her mind to entertain thoughts that destroy her peace. She doesn't allow her emotions to spiral without checking in with herself. She doesn't allow past mistakes to haunt her present. She practices self-discipline, self-kindness, and self-awareness. She knows that some of the toughest boundaries to maintain are the ones she sets inside her own heart. What makes her boundaries powerful is that they are not rigid rules forced upon others. They are guidelines she follows herself. She respects the boundaries of others as much as she expects them to respect hers. She communicates clearly. She expresses her needs without fear. She is not aggressive, just assertive. She is not demanding, just self-loving. Her boundaries are not conditions, they are expressions of her dignity. A smart woman understands that boundaries are a filter for relationships. They reveal who truly cares, who respects her, and who was only benefiting from her lack of limitations. Those who value her will stay, adapt, and grow with her. Those who don't will naturally drift away, and she welcomes that. She doesn't chase people who cannot meet her basic standards of respect and emotional maturity. She lets go gracefully, without bitterness. Boundaries also give her clarity. She knows where to invest her time and where to step back. She knows who deserves access to her inner world and who only belongs at the surface. She knows what environments uplift her and what situations drain her. She knows what is worth fighting for and what is worth walking away from. This clarity helps her live a more peaceful, purposeful, and emotionally balanced life. A woman with boundaries carries a unique energy. She appears confident without being arrogant. She appears calm because she has nothing to prove. She appears strong because she is not afraid to walk away from what doesn't feel right. She appears self assured because she knows she is responsible for her own joy. But it is important to understand that setting boundaries is not always easy for her. Sometimes she worries about hurting people. Sometimes she feels guilty for prioritizing herself. Sometimes she struggles between kindness and firmness. But she chooses to grow through that discomfort because she knows the alternative. Being overwhelmed, used, or silenced is far worse. Setting boundaries is one of the most profound acts of self-love. It is the courage to choose oneself. It is the wisdom to know where to stop. It is the maturity to balance compassion with self-preservation. Smart women do not apologize for protecting their peace. They nurture their hearts, guard their energy, and respect their limits because they know that their emotional well-being is the foundation of everything they contribute to the world. In the end, a woman with boundaries becomes a woman who inspires others. People around her learn to treat her with respect. They learn the value of clarity, honesty, and emotional responsibility. And through her quiet example, she teaches a beautiful lesson. Loving others is important, but loving yourself enough to set boundaries is essential. Smart women understand something that many people spend their whole lives trying to figure out. Growth is far more important than validation. They don't measure their worth through compliments, likes, approval, or applause. They don't depend on the world's opinions to feel good about themselves. Instead, they invest their energy in evolving, learning, improving, and becoming a better version of who they were yesterday. Their confidence comes from progress, not praise. Validation is temporary. It fades as quickly as it arrives. But growth is permanent. It changes who you are from the inside out. Smart women know this truth deeply. They don't chase acceptance because they know that the people who truly matter will appreciate them without being convinced. They don't get trapped in the endless cycle of trying to please everyone. They don't live life performing for the world. They live for purpose, not applause. There is a beauty in the way they choose growth. They embrace challenges instead of avoiding them. They welcome constructive criticism instead of feeling threatened by it. They see mistakes as teachers, not failures. They understand that every step forward, no matter how small, brings them closer to who they are meant to be. They know that growth requires patience, humility, discipline, and courage, and they are willing to invest in all of it. Smart women also understand that validation can be addictive. When you depend on external approval, you give others the power to decide your happiness. Your confidence becomes fragile, your decisions become influenced by fear, and your identity becomes shaped by opinions. But when you value growth, you reclaim that power. You decide who you are, where you are going, and what truly matters. You rise above distractions and focus on what builds your future. They choose growth because they have outgrown superficial things. Attention doesn't excite them, improvement does. Compliments don't blind them, self-awareness guides them. They don't get carried away by people's judgments because they have built a relationship with themselves that is stronger than any external noise. They do not need others to validate their journey, their dreams, or their identity. And this mindset didn't come easily. Many of them have experienced the emptiness of seeking approval. They know the pain of trying to be everything for everyone and still feeling misunderstood. They know what it feels like to shrink themselves just to be accepted. They know the dissatisfaction of changing who they are just to make others comfortable. These experiences taught them that validation is an endless road, one that leads nowhere meaningful. So they choose a different path, the path of growth. When they pursue growth, they become unstoppable. They set goals and work quietly. They develop habits that strengthen them mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. They read, learn, practice, reflect, and evolve. They surround themselves with people who inspire, not drain. They detach from people who judge, gossip, or limit them. Their circle becomes smaller but healthier. Their mind becomes clearer. Their life becomes richer. A smart woman knows that growth is not always glamorous. It is uncomfortable. It demands sacrifice. It requires discipline. It pushes you to face your flaws. It forces you to confront your fears. It challenges your comfort zones. But she embraces all of this because she knows that true transformation only happens when you are willing to endure discomfort. She understands that a diamond becomes valuable only after intense pressure, and she treats herself with the same trust. She also knows that validation is unpredictable. People can admire you today and criticize you tomorrow. They can praise you publicly and doubt you privately. They can love you one moment and forget you the next. Their opinions change with their moods, insecurities, and circumstances. So why should her identity depend on something so unstable? Why should her worth be tied to someone else's perception? She chooses stability over instability, and stability comes from inner growth. Smart women choose growth because it deepens their self-respect. Every new skill learned, every challenge overcome, every boundary honored, every emotion mastered, it all strengthens their relationship with themselves. They learn to trust their judgment. They learn to rely on their potential. They learn to honor their journey. And the more they grow, the less they need validation from the outside world. This growth-oriented mindset also makes them more resilient. They are not easily broken by criticism because they see it as an opportunity to learn. They are not defeated by failure because they understand that setbacks are stepping stones. They are not discouraged by slow progress because they know real transformation takes time. They stay committed, patient, and focused. Smart women often leave people surprised. Others expect them to seek approval, but instead they choose authenticity. People expect them to follow trends, but they follow their own vision. Society tries to tell them who they should be, but they choose who they want to become. Their strength lies not in being perfect, but in being committed to growth, constantly, silently, consistently. They understand that validation is a mirror held by others, but growth is a mirror held by themselves. One reflects what people want to see, the other reflects who they truly are, and they would rather face the truth of who they are than the illusion of who others expect them to be. In the end, the reason smart women value growth over validation is simple: validation makes you dependent, but growth makes you powerful. Validation gives momentary satisfaction, but growth gives lasting fulfillment. Validation is borrowed confidence. Growth is earned confidence. This is why smart women evolve constantly, choosing progress over approval, purpose over popularity, and authenticity over applause. They know that the greatest validation they will ever receive is the quiet pride of knowing they have grown into someone stronger, wiser, and more aligned with their true self.